Welcome to the South Asian Diaspora Convention 2016 and to this afternoon's session, the Summit Group Plenary on Regional Integration. It is my pleasure now to invite Ambassador Keng, Executive Deputy Chairman, S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies, and Ambassador at Large, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Singapore, to give the opening address.
Thank you, Aisha, for introducing me. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am a Chinaman from Singapore, and they want me to talk about regional integration of South Asia and maybe ASEAN. Okay, ASEAN, I know a little bit since I was formerly Secretary General of ASEAN. But South Asia, there are so many of you here. I think you can do a better job than me. But cannot say no to Mr. Kopi, Ambassador Kopi Gopinath Pillai. So maybe I'll try to say a little bit about South Asia, talk a bit more about ASEAN, and then maybe one or two sentences on Iran, since His Excellency, former Foreign Minister Ali Abad Velayati is here, and I need to connect Iran into South Asia and ASEAN. So here goes. I got to give enough time for His Excellency Velayati to make his speech. Well, regional integration is never easy. The most recent example is a dramatic exit of Britain from the EU. Well, they say they want to exit, but now they don't know what to do after the vote. So we wait and see, but definitely it caused an impact on the European Union. So as you can see, integration, even in the most experienced regional integration model, namely the European Union, is still troubled and not so easy to carry on and on. When the economic and other conditions in the area covered by the integration initiative are not so good, then people will grumble, as you have seen in UK, and then they'll vote against continuing in the regional body. So, in the case of South Asia, all of you are very familiar with the political, security, and economic conditions in many of the South Asian countries. Therefore, I imagine it is not difficult for you to understand why the regional integration body called the SAARC, S-A-A-R-C, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, is taking some time to get the act together. But I think, just as in Southeast Asia, we should not lose hope. We should continue to work on it. But I have identified briefly maybe 6 reasons why SAARC is not having enough traction with many of its initiatives. So I will just list them very quickly. One, of course, there are interstate disputes, and as a result of different countries still arguing one another what is their relationship going to be and all that. There are suspicions and mutual distrust. Number 2, you have security situation in some part of South Asia, troubling the governments of the day. And these days with IS and other kind of terrorists, the story is even more complicated. Number 3, we have heard this morning about the lack of infrastructure. This is a problem about physical provision. I think we can fix it more easily than the others. So if we improve the infrastructure, maybe with more connectivity, things can be better. Number 4, the bureaucracy. When I was High Commissioner to India, I agonized over this bureaucratic process in different parts of India, not only at the center, but down the states. I think I went to almost all the states in my 2.5 years there to try to understand the system and get it going for our projects. But it is still a heavy hand from the bureaucratic services. Too many rules, maybe too many bureaucrats, but they are all underpaid, so you can imagine the problem. Number 5, as a result of all these disputes, security, yeah, lack of infrastructure, we have insufficient movement of people and interaction of businesses across the borders. So this by itself creates more problem for the integration process. And number 6 is a big brother called India. Yeah, we have to recognize this issue. It is not good for me to avoid this, but I think the other countries in South Asia will always look at India and see what India wants them to do or don't want them to do. And this creates difficulties as we go along in the regional integration process in SAR. In ASEAN, we also have a big brother called Indonesia. Actually, you look at it, all the eyes are giving us trouble. India, Indonesia, and hopefully Iran will not give us trouble, but integrate us. So we depend on Mr. Viryati's country to bring the two big eyes together. But Indonesia in ASEAN, in Southeast Asia, has what? 15,000 islands, but now they say it's 17,000. Possible because volcano keep coming out and then they create new islands. Yeah? But definitely, every year the population of Indonesia increased by 1 Singapore. No joke, no. 3 million people, new babies are born in Indonesia because they are 240, maybe 260 million people. So, in the history of integration in Southeast Asia, Indonesia has always played a very big role or pivotal role. If the Indonesian, like during the time of Suharto, work positively towards integration, I think there will be more progress with regard to ASEAN work. Currently, ASEAN is building our community, ASEAN community as we call it. We have 3 pillars: political, security, economic, social, cultural. Not so much progress have been made in political security. We are still 10 countries each trying to argue with each other. But economically, the ASEAN economic community is doing quite well. No tariffs in many cases. Some of the remaining tariffs are going to be removed. In terms of obstacles to trade in services, we are gradually removing them. And more importantly, as a group, we try to project an image. And this is also with the help of Indonesia, although occasionally the Indonesian nationalistic sentiments can be quite troubling. But overall, with the idea that having 10 ASEAN countries together as one grouping, the whole region, as a result of the growing population, the growing affluent, there will be benefits. And people, like foreign investors elsewhere, will come, and this create jobs and help us to integrate faster. So it's not a bad idea to look at the economic processes, get the business to come together, and hopefully with more integration at the economic level, we can do more with the social, cultural, and the political security. Now, with regard to the role of Iran, Iran, as you know, is a very big country, somewhere between the Middle East and South Asia, Central Asia. And in recent years, it has been actively working to improve its relationship with many of us in South Asia and Southeast Asia. You will hear His Excellency Viryati talk about this afterward. But I just want to say that recently, you know, the role of Iran has become more and more prominent, and not least because Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi went there and signed a multi-billion-dollar, not yet 1 billion, yeah? Now multi-million-dollar deal to develop Shah Bahar port, to build a railway, and then maybe get into Afghanistan. And many people don't know this, but there is this thing called the TAPI pipeline from Turkmenistan. They bring the oil and gas to Afghanistan, to Pakistan, to India. And Iran play a very critical role. And we look forward to listening to His Excellency to explain more of Iran's role in our region. But in conclusion, let me just say something about regional integration. Regional integration, at the end of the day, no matter how great your business, how good the economy, how historical your country, you need strong leadership. If you don't have a good leadership, whether in your country or together in the other member states of the regional organization, you are not going to get very far. So we need to work on getting the political leadership to work together. Maybe they should be inspiring us, giving us new aspiration, and more importantly, they should be like the cricket empire from time to time, be the good neutral referee to sort out our difficulties and get on with the job of integrating the economy and eventually more of the political and social dimension. So I'll stop here and thank you very much.